You've heard me say it before. The energy of a situation can always be changed. Always. Are we strong enough? That's the question. Today, we're talking about a surprising way to move the energy. It's a little bit law of attraction and a little bit quantum physics and a whole lot of just how to move forward. So stay tuned. What do you do when your dreams feel unreachable, your reality feels close to unbearable, and no matter how hard you work to shake things up, no matter how much time and effort you put into changing your life, you still feel deeply, painfully, and hopelessly stuck? What you need is alchemy. What is alchemy? Well, it's a process that changes or transforms something in a magical way. You can discover how to create this very practical form of magic in your own life, shifting your energy in a way that dissolves the obstacles in your path to literally bring success to you. My name is Remy, like Do Re Mi, and I'm a best-selling author. Knowing how to unlock this hidden power, how to take back your resilience so you can just move forward, is the battle cry of anyone who's been through one of life's crushing setbacks. Luckily, unlocking your hidden power is easier than it might seem. I have something that I think you'll enjoy, and you can get started with this very practical form of magic right here, right now. Okay, let me jump off the screen here so I can see my laptop. Can the energy of a situation be changed? Always. Are we strong enough? That's the question. When we go through difficult times like a trauma or a spiritual injury, sometimes our symptoms don't ease up. Sometimes they get worse, especially if our nervous system gets stuck and we somehow can't get out of the psychological shock. Well, I am the founder of the Get Unstuck Revolution, so I know a little bit about getting unstuck because sometimes we've been stuck long enough and we just want to move forward again toward success. If you aren't getting the success you want in full abundance, however you identify with success, and if you're wanting to tap into a greater knowingness and align with the higher consciousness of your infinite self instead of the lower ego thinking that pushes desires away, then this episode is for you. It's time to be unabashedly, unapologetically, happily untethered to ego thinking. It's time to align with our soul's path instead. This episode is for you if you wonder how to move forward after something difficult. Is this difficult situation helping you become more of who you're meant to be? And can we change the energy patterns of a situation back to their highest frequency so we can just move forward to a better place? Yes, these episodes are about how to find your hidden power when you want to transform challenges into successes. I like to call it the audacity of alchemy. Because when we're feeling stuck, it's never the situation that has us stuck, it's our energy that's become stuck in anxiety, overwhelm, doubts, worries, frustrations, indecision, and even anger. And often this is because of a spiritual injury that we've experienced, some kind of a hidden trauma. So it isn't the pain of the situation, it's the pain of not being connected in the natural energy of who we really are, of being connected to that magical part of us that's a creative vibrational being who can use positive energies to create what we want and bring it into physical manifestation. We can allow our manifestations to materialize and not get stuck in the negative vibrations that block them. These positive energies that we talk about so much are where we find the magic of alchemy, because our choice of frequency, our choice of those higher energy thought patterns can change the course of our journey. Today, we're talking about how to move forward again after a difficult time. When we survive a tough time, whether it's a minor blip or something traumatic, we often just want to forget all about it. We want to move forward, right? You know, I was sitting at that well-known coffee shop that we all love and adore one day, and I struck up a conversation with the guy sitting at the next table. And he was cute, and I was honestly old enough to be his mother. So it was just plain weird that he was flirting with me, but I didn't mind. Somebody once told me, Remy, you'll talk to anybody, anytime, anywhere about anything. Yeah, it's just that I find this common human experience that we're all going through so fascinating. Anyway, once I got this guy to knock off the flirting, we actually had a pretty decent conversation. And he told me that he had just gone through a bad divorce. And he said that, in his opinion, especially for guys, when they go through a divorce that is particularly difficult, it's just like doing hard labor. And he used the analogy of having to do a physically and emotionally demanding job like re roofing the house. And he said, you're putting everything into it, your blood, sweat, and tears. And at the end of the day, you just want to pull everything off you, all the clothes you're wearing, everything, and dump it all in the nearest trash can and never look back. And he said he walked away from everything, his friends, his work, every single thing that reminded him of that time during that bad divorce. He just wanted to move forward. Can you relate? It doesn't matter if we go through a little bit of a tough time or something that drains every bit of life out of us. We often just want to move on. We hope that forgetting will somehow be the same as overcoming. But it just isn't possible to completely erase life changing events or even just forget about them. If we can't forget all about it, if we can't put it behind us, then how do we move forward? Are we supposed to allow even more time to process what's happened? Is there some underlying lesson that we just aren't getting? Are we supposed to busy ourselves with distractions and hope that time really will heal all wounds? How can we move forward when we can't seem to move forward? Well, remember how I said earlier that energy can always be changed? Always. Are we strong enough? That's the question. And remember how I said that we are going to be part law of attraction today and part quantum physics? Well, whatever you've been through, whatever challenge or spiritual injury you've experienced, let's take a moment to look at it from a new perspective. Sometimes we feel like we've been spinning in circles trying to get beyond something, when in reality, we're actually going up a spiral. We're evolving, we're awakening, we're growing in our spiritual knowledge. What I'm saying is, society would often tell us to just get over it, put it behind you, it's time to move on. And our ego thinking may agree. Our ego wants us to look at everything that's wrong, to point fingers. Ego wants us to look at the deficits of the other person or whoever's involved in the situation. Our ego wants to stir the pot and get us angry and frustrated. But sometimes, if we'll take a step back and just gain a little perspective, we may see that we're evolving. We're going up the spiral into a higher consciousness. We've grown, we've learned, we're ascending into who we want to be and who we're becoming. If we focus on putting something behind us, if we focus on just moving on, then are we making an assumption that there's something wrong with us? This is one of the reasons that I often say that I'm not 100% on board with traditional therapy, because for some of us, this assumes there's something wrong with us. But what if there's nothing wrong at all? What if we're simply evolving, growing, learning? I've known way too many people who have been overrun in therapy with wrong diagnoses. I've known way too many people whose nervous systems have become stuck, and their so-called trauma, which actually contained a lesson that they came here to earth to experience, but nobody's focusing on this side of spirituality. Their experience has created a new blueprint on their brain, and they just haven't realized it. Now, I'm not saying therapy is always a bad thing, so you don't need to email me. It can be very good and a lot of very important situations. But for some people, it can also re-stimulate or even force emotions that don't even serve us. And I've seen people stay in this re-stimulation for years because of a wrong diagnosis. It's like treating someone for a heart condition when it's really a virus. Doctors don't like to treat an illness without first doing a diagnosis. And some of these spiritual issues are a little tougher to diagnose because we can feel so blind as to what we're supposed to be doing and how we're supposed to move forward. So I just like to suggest a different perspective, and then you can decide for yourself if this is the best fit for you. Maybe you've experienced a spiritual injury and your nervous system has become stuck in the physical body, or maybe it's energetic. Maybe your energy has become stuck in a stale, negative, electromagnetic attraction. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that, because that's a lot of words. Maybe your energy has become stuck in a stale, negative, electromagnetic attraction. What we're talking about here is part law of attraction and part quantum physics. Now, you hear me say it every week that it isn't the situation where we get stuck, it's our energy about the situation. If we feel mistrust or apprehensive, if we feel confused or even angry, that's where we get stuck. And then we attract more negative experiences over and over. It's ongoing because we're stuck in negative electromagnetic attraction. But if we can move the energy, if we can find the positives and find the blessings, if we can find something to appreciate, then we can shift the energy because we can always change the energy. Are we strong enough? That's the question. But wait a minute. What if it isn't even strength that's required? Well, yeah, we're really talking law of attraction here because we know how we're doing in life by how we feel. If we feel a certain amount of grace and joy and vibrancy, if we've tapped into our wisdom and clarity, if we're moving through the world with courage and optimism, then we know we're doing pretty well because that's how we feel. That's our signal, our indicator. And after all, this is our hidden power. However, if we're harboring doubts and struggle and feeling defeated, well, per the law of attraction, we get more struggle. And this all seems very basic to me, and maybe it does to you too. So let's go a little bit deeper here and talk about the spiritual science underneath it all. As light workers, whether you consider yourself a light worker or not, one of the greatest services we can provide for humanity is to draw atoms of light into our energy for cleansing and recycling. We can take these atoms of light, which have been reduced in their vibrational quality, and cleanse and recycle these atoms. In other words, we can take the negative vibration from any condition, person, place, or thing and draw those atoms of light into our energy for recycling. We aren't absorbing the energy, we're changing it, we're recycling, we're transforming it. We're using alchemy. So we're taking these negative atoms of light, which have been reduced in their vibrational quality, and we're cleansing and recycling the energy. With me so far? As these atoms reconnect with our energy and as they're recycled, what's really happening is they're being transmuted through our love, compassion, through our patience and our understanding. This negative energy is being recycled into a realization that only love is real and everything else is an illusion, asking us to see that only the love is real. The negatives within a situation don't actually exist unless we think they do, because our thoughts are what create our emotions and therefore our reality. So we're changing all the thoughts and energy about the situation. Okay, still with me? Well, let me give you this next piece here and then we'll bring it home. Back to science class, we know that energy cannot be destroyed. Energy cannot be destroyed, but energy can be changed and altered. We may feel negative emotions toward a situation we're in, and we may think we can ignore it, deny it, process it, distract ourselves away from it, yet somehow, why are we still thinking about it? Why does it still bug us? Why can't we shake it? We have trouble moving forward. And why is this? Well, if energy cannot be destroyed and this situation has an energetic charge, then logically, we're being asked to transform the energy, to change its form. We're transforming it into a different form. We're repatterning the pattern through our love and compassion. We're repatterning the existing energy and thought patterns into new thought patterns. We're creating a new pattern, a new form. We're taking these old energy forms that no longer serve us, and we're literally recycling the energy back to its highest frequency. We're recycling energy back to its highest frequency. We're scouring and we're cleansing and we're eliminating the emotional charge that's stuck in the energy form. We're cleansing the stale, negative electromagnetic attraction from the energy pattern and recycling it to its highest frequency. And in doing so, it still allows the people involved to retain the wisdom they've gained from the experience. And now the new energy that's been recycled is ready to be used again in a constructive new form with all the reverence and honor that it needs toward this situation and toward all of life. All we're really doing is taking on a new perspective about our situation. That's the simplicity of it. All we're doing is taking on a new perspective about the situation. We're just observing. We're observing the situation and looking at it through our eyes of unconditional love. We're looking at it with curiosity and appreciation. We're observing it. We're looking for the positives. We're looking for the blessings. And from a scientific standpoint, this is changing the energy pattern, altering it back to its highest frequency. We've become a self contained recycling plant in a way. Now, if you're having trouble getting your head around this, and hopefully I've simplified it enough, but remember back to the Japanese scientist and his experiment with the water crystals. He said that human consciousness has an effect on the molecular structure of water. And he believed that water would react to positive thoughts and words, and that polluted water could be cleansed through positive visualization, words, pictures, even music. That emotional energies and vibrations would change the physical structure of water. And I've got some before and after pictures here on the screen for you. So, just like we can sit down at a table with a glass of water and think positive words like love or thank you, or playing certain styles of music can change the molecular structure of that water till it forms these beautiful crystals. So, just like we could sit down at a table with a glass of water, we can just as easily sit down at a table and think about a certain situation or challenge and find the blessings within it and recycle the energy of that negative situation into its highest frequency. So, if we're in a situation where we just want to move forward but can't seem to, hopefully the scientific explanation of why thinking positive thoughts about the situation can help you to finally start the process. It isn't about moving forward from the situation, but moving forward with a new energy about it. Our spiritual journey is to bring in the light, to choose higher frequency thought patterns and positive emotions, because our choice of frequency can change the course of our journey and it can change the journey for others around us. So, reflecting back on everything we covered today, how can you apply what you learned? Do you see a way to use this technique in a situation you've been through in the past or to heal it in the present? Or maybe you have something happening in the present that could really use a new perspective. I hope this helps you as you're using the powers of alchemy to transform challenges and obstacles into positive new successes. But if you still can't get your head around what's got you stuck, you can tell me about it. You can send me a question to questions@unlockyourhiddenpower.com, or I also have a free guide available for you if you'll simply visit unlockyourhiddenpower.com. Of course, if you're already right here on the podcast page and not listening through iTunes or one of the others, then you'll see it right there for you at the top of the right-hand column. What is this free guide all about? Well, if you've ever thought to yourself, I need to get my life back, or you're just having a hard time that you can't seem to move on from, then you've probably suffered invalidation, abuse, or spiritual injury somewhere along the way. Knowing how to take back your life can just so that you can just move forward is one of the most common questions that I get. And that's part of what inspired today's episode. Fortunately, finding your way back to you, well, it's easier than it might seem. This new guide is the first step in getting out of the sheer frustration of being stuck and spinning your wheels on success that seems elusive. So thanks for joining me today, and I'm wishing you a life filled with all the alchemy you need to bring success to you. Feel free to share this video with anyone you know who's feeling stuck, and don't forget to grab your free guide at unlockyourhiddenpower.com.